Howdy all, my name is not Costa and I'm not a gardener, so let's just get that clear. But I am Karl Cooney and I'm here to talk about the Veggie Patch. Now, the Veggie Patch is essentially a mobile commercial kitchen providing restaurant quality food at an almost infinite number of locations. Now, which one am I on? Oh, yeah. Now, the Veggie Patch is a collaboration between two businesses. The first is my business, Yulli's, which is a vegetarian bar and restaurant located on Crown Street, Surrey Hills. We've been trading since August 2008 and I've watched the business grow pretty steadily. We provide a share-style international menu and we pair it with locally brewed beers and wines. TMOD, which is made up of Georgie and Malenka, who are down there, are a design studio and they're based in East Sydney, just down here. They began as a lighting design business and then diversified into jewellery and have since evolved into a boutique stationery business. TMOD jewellery and cards are currently stocked online and at boutique fashion stores and galleries throughout Australia. Now, this is the Veggie van. So what's going on with food vans? Over the past 10 years, you might have heard about them all happening in New York and London and San Francisco, and Sydney we all want to be so much like them. So we're doing that and we're putting on the Veggie Patch, which is going to be one of the vans, part of that concept. Now, this is our van. This is the concept design that Malenka and Georgie came up with when we had to put in our submission. As you can see, we've tried to design it to make it a mobile piece of art. To look at, it's got the wood panelling, which gives it a little bit of barn element, and all the herbs on the roof. Now, here's the flash fan that we could have bought. So we could have forked out lots of money, got a prefabbed van, sent the specs out, and got someone to make it for us. But instead, we're about to see the van that we did buy. This is Spud. Here he is. He's an old camper van. He's got a diesel engine. He belonged to a friend of ours and he's fully decked out with the bits and pieces we need to get the Veggie Patch up and running. It was originally put together as a bit of a home job with all the wiring and solar panels put in place by the owners. When undertaking any entrepreneurial pursuits, we understand that you're going to have an environmental impact, but we think if we can sort of make some decisions with the environment in mind, we're at least going to do something a little bit better than what we could be doing. We're sort of working with hybrid power sources for this. We've tried to take an approach that uses lots of different power sources. The major thing was let's not use electricity, and instead we are using gas. This is our one little teaspoon of hypocrisy, and it does help the medicine go down. And what we will be using the gas for is just to power our gas cookers, so our deep fryer and our hot plate. I'll also be using a little bit of solar power. The solar power will, we've got a van, right? We've got a van that's got a whole roof that's exposed to the elements all the time. So why not deck that out with solar panels? And beautifully, Spud comes with 10 solar panels already installed. Now we've just got to work out how to wire it and get the batteries going properly. But yeah, so the solar panels will power our fridges, our basic appliances, and our lights. Now, I do know that it sounds a little bit suspect to say you're going to drive a van around and not have a carbon footprint, but we're not using petrol. Spud will be powered by vegetable oil. We're in the process of converting the engine as we speak. Now, it's not as complicated as a process as it seems, and we have ample access to many 20-litre vats of vegetable oil. We are trying to keep our food miles down by sourcing all of our food from local farms. Now, as I think a few people have said already tonight, don't you think it's a little bit manic that we can get tomatoes all year round, that we can get apples in the middle of summer? It's just a bit manic. So what we are trying to do is source our produce locally, and as you can see here, we were inspired a little bit by Just, and I hope you all went to the greenhouse when it was in town. I think it was quite a cool little thing to have. Now, this idea of locally sourced seasonal produce is best understood by the paddock to plate movement. Here we have a little bit of a map of the vegetables that will be available in different seasons. We do want to keep it as seasonally oriented as we can. Righto. Now, it will all be a vegetarian menu. We are well, half of us are vegetarian, half of us aren't. So in this little team, and that's what's cool about it. We're not trying to be preachy and trying to tell people that, you know, you have to be vegetarian. We're just trying to give people an opportunity to have a vegetarian meal once a week or as many times as a week as they like. So get out there, you know, get yourself a vegetarian meal. It does good. As many times a week as you can, because as we all know, it is actually a lot better for the environment. With current agricultural practices in producing meat, it's a little bit of a nightmare. Now, I think I was going to give these guys a little bit of a plug because I think what that they do is fantastic. And yes, we did rip this straight off your website, so, you know, sue us if you have to. But yeah, I think these guys do a fantastic job. I mean, being able to source that much local food from local farms and helping those guys out at Mamre with a I think is just a fantastic gig. And so we should all be buying our we should all be buying a box or so a week from these guys. Now look at all this food waste. This makes us sick. This is horrible, right? Why aren't we composting this? And why aren't we harassing the city of Sydney? I mean, at Yulli's, for a little while we composted a whole lot of our, we do separate our organic waste. And we found that we do 240 litres a week of organic matter. That was going somewhere to be composted. Now it's just going back to landfill because we don't have anyone to compost it. I can't believe the city's not on top of this and creating some sort of scheme to get it to just farms to enrich their soil. Now here's a couple of images of our food. This is the birch and muesli that we'll be doing with that we were going to do. Now it does have, I can tell you, it does have raspberries on it and figs on it and all these sorts of things right now. This was done a couple of months ago, this dish. It's what we did to get our food approved. And this is the veggie fritter, but in general it will be done with all seasonal produce, and I don't think it has to. And what's the beauty of it is that we can just sort of slot that produce in as the different seasons come around. So you just, instead of doing raspberries, you throw in a few apples. Instead of doing apples, you throw in some pears. It's just a fantastic, I think, and very easy solution. Thank you.